Hello, I'm Chef Leanne. I live and work in the fabulous Florida Keys. My family moved here from New Jersey in 1969. We are a large Italian family, 5 brothers and my sister. We grew up in the ocean. It was our playground. And for that reason, I like sourcing local fish and sticking with the seasons. So for today's meal, I'm going to be doing a grilled Caesar salad. And then I'm also doing a pasta alla Puttanesca. But to stay with the Caribbean flair, I'm going to be doing that with a grouper. With every meal that I do here at the table, or even when I go to clients' homes to do cooking, I always make homemade bread. So I'm going to be using my homemade bread to make croutons for the Caesar salad. I'm going to do it in a cast iron skillet. If you have a grill, you can do it on a grill. Having a fresh crouton on your Caesar salad makes a world of difference. It doesn't take long to make. It won't be that super hard crouton that you're used to having on a Caesar salad. It doesn't take long. So I lost both my business and my home in 2017 to Hurricane Irma. And so with today, what's happening, the tornadoes in Kentucky and Missouri, Alabama, I just want you to know that I'm living proof that you can rebuild and start all over again. My heart goes out to you and I pray for you. I know it's a terrible thing that's going on. So my croutons are almost done. They have a nice golden coat to them. And I also make my own Caesar dressing. So we're going to move over to the blender here and I'll show you a real quick, easy Caesar dressing that you can make on your own. So I'm making a homemade, chef-made Caesar salad. It's very simple and easy to make. I'm not using the raw egg. Instead, I'm going to be using mayonnaise. I have garlic, anchovy, fresh Parmesan, pecorino, some Dijon mustard, some sea salt. I'm going to start with the garlic and the Parmesan. I'm going to add in the anchovy. And believe me, if I didn't tell you that there was anchovy in this, you wouldn't know it. All it does is give it a really good salty, umami type flavor. I'm going to add in just a little bit of the Worcestershire sauce. Not much. And then to give it a little bit of acidity, I'm going to add some key lime juice. Maybe a half a teaspoon. Some coarse sea salt. Yep, I need to add some olive oil. That way I get a little bit of emulsification going on there. All right, there you go. Took 1 minute to make a homemade Caesar dressing. It's that easy. All right, and now we're going to go back over to the stove and I'm going to grill the romaine lettuce in my cast iron skillet. If you have a grill, it's always great to do it on the grill, but today we're going to do it on the cast iron skillet. So we're going to go back over to the stove. So now that our homemade croutons are done and our creamy homemade Caesar dressing is complete, I'm going to grill some romaine lettuce. Head of romaine that I cleaned up a little bit. I'm going to add a little bit of olive oil. I know this is a little unusual and different, But I guarantee you, once you have this, you'll never have regular Caesar salad again. You'll always want to grill it. It's probably one of my signature dishes that's always requested. It doesn't take long to make. It's very simple. So while that's grilling, I'm going to take the dressing and just give a nice smear on the plate. And all I'm looking for is just a little bit of caramelization on the lettuce, and it's done. It doesn't really cook it, it just adds flavor to the lettuce. And that's what I'm looking for, is just a little bit of that caramelization. Put that on there like that. A couple of the croutons. A little bit more dressing. I have some fresh pecorino cheese. I'm going to shave on the top of it. And then I'm going to put on some fresh cracked pepper. So there you have it, a grilled Caesar salad with homemade croutons, homemade Caesar dressing, and some shaved pecorino and some cracked pepper. Now this is going to be the first course before we move on to the next course, which is going to be the pasta alla Puttanesca. So this next dish that I'm doing is a pasta alla Puttanesca. And to stick with the Caribbean flair, I'm going to be adding some fresh local grouper. Pasta Puttanesca is a classic, easy Italian dish. It's loaded with Mediterranean flavors, and it has an interesting history behind it. My mother and my grandmother did a Neapolitan-style Puttanesca, which just really means that we don't put anchovies in it. So to get started, classic flavors of all of them. So I'm going to be using some fresh. First, I'm going to put the oil in the pan. Some fresh shallots, garlic, a little bit of chili pepper. And again, with the chili pepper, it depends on how spicy you want it. You only want a little bit of spice, put a lot in there. You want a little, go light on it. All right, so I'm going to be adding some olives and some capers. You can definitely smell the capers and the olives cooking. And that's what makes a traditional pasta Puttanesca, is that brininess that you want. These are just peeled tomatoes that I crushed. So my mother, when she worked with me in the coffee house, she told the story like this. Everybody has their own version of the pasta Puttanesca. So this is my mom's version. It came from the island of Elba off of Italy, where Bonaparte was exiled. And the reason that he chose to be put onto this island was because of the beautiful weather that they had in Elba, and then also because of the abundance of whores. So that is my mother's version of a pasta Puttanesca. Couldn't tell you if it's true or not, but I like it, so I'll stick with it. I'm going to add a little bit of salt and pepper. The island of Elba is in the Mediterranean Ocean, so it's close to the seafood. That's why I'm adding the grouper to it. So while this is simmering, I've got a couple of grouper fillets. Florida grouper has a season here in the Florida Keys. It's June through December. it's very strict grouper season, so you have to be careful when you're catching them. And that's really with any of the seafood here in the Keys. They all have their season, and I like that because then when you're sourcing locally, you know which fish that you want to put on your menu. I'll give you an example. If you've got hogfish on the menu and hogfish is out of season, you know it's not a local fish. All right, that won't take long to cook. And then to give it a really awesome pizzazz, when I do a presentation to my clients or even when I do it here at the table, I always love the wow factor. So I'm going to be serving it in a whole grouper carcass. And the reason for that, most people, they throw away the carcass. And there is an abundance of meat inside the carcass. There's the collarbone right here that has a bunch of meat. There's the cheek here that has meat. And then you can also get a little bit of meat here at the tail. And it's just really a wow factor when I put it on the table. So I roast the grouper in the oven. I put some pesto sauce on it and I roast it for about a half an hour. My pasta is already cooked, so I'm adding cooked pasta. Okay. And then I'm using some fresh basil leaves that I'm just going to chop in a julienne style. Here goes the wow factor. This fish is going to be so tender when you bite into it, and it's going to be full of flavor with all of the brininess from the olives and the capers. It's going to have a little bit of heat because of the chili pepper. Now when I'm done plating this, I have guests at my table. And I would like to present this to them. So if you'll follow me there to the table. But before we do that, I have a fantastic wine selection here at the table. And my thing is pairing wine with food. It's what I love to do. We do wine dinners here once a month. We always bring in different wineries to do them. And then I pair the food to the different wines. But it's what I love to do. So with this dish, because it's fish, people would tend to go to a white wine. But because I'm serving it with a pasta puttanesca, the brininess from the olives and the capers, some would want to go to a red wine. I think the recommended red wine would probably be something from the Piedmont region, even the Tuscan region, a Chianti. But again, I'm going to stick with the white wine, and I would pair this with a really good Vermentino because of the brininess that you get from the olives and the capers. So if you want to follow me to the table, we're going to go ahead and present it to my guests. Follow me to the table, where I'm going to present my guests with a classic pasta puttanesca in a whole grouper carcass. Let's see what their reaction is.
Wow.
Beautiful?
Absolutely.
Ching ching.
Hi, I'm Jo Grego with Island Breeze Vacations. Island Breeze manages vacation rental properties in Marathon, Key Colony Beach, and Grassy Key. We have everything from modest condominiums to luxury vacation rentals with views like this. We are locally owned and operated, and we want you to experience the Florida Keys like the locals do. To book your vacation today, call Island Breeze.